Hi, welcome back to Broke Not Broken. And today I got served the best Christmas present my 10-year-old could have given me. He taught me a lesson that he is listening, he is watching, he is paying attention. And this is a lesson to all you moms out there, especially moms of boys. I have taught my children to be respectful, to not lie, cheat, or steal. Those are the three deadly sins in my house. We don't do lying, cheating, and stealing. They all go hand in hand. So here's the story. So last evening, my son had gone out to remove snow for the elderly and stuff with his best friend before skating. He had come home and his little friend had had to go home early for his curfew, and Dalton had collected the money, and he said, I promised my friend that at school tomorrow I'd bring him the rest of the money because he didn't have a way of splitting a $20 bill at the time, and the boys are only collecting what people feel they're worth, so they're not overcharging people to remove their snow. My oldest son felt that my son should keep the remainder of the money because he continued the job, and my son said, no, no, no. I promised my friend that he could have his take of the money because it's not his fault he has a curfew, which is absolutely true. He was abiding by the rules of his mother, and that's fine. And he said, I gave him my word I would give him the money. I said, okay, that's great. So this morning, all the buses are canceled to school, and normally when the buses are canceled, I don't make my children walk to school. My 16-year-old takes a bus. My 10-year-old walks from my house, and it's only about 500 meters, and I walk the kindergartner. Now, this morning, he was hell-bent on giving his friend the remaining money for the removal of the snow. And I said, buddy, the roads are really bad. It's not, safe. I don't think it's safe. He says, Mom, I gave him my word. And if I keep that money, my friend might think I'm a liar, a thief, and a cheat. I said, why would he think that? He said, well, because I told him I would give him the money at school, and if I don't go to school, then that makes me a liar. He goes, if I keep the money, that makes me a cheat or a thief. And I want to make sure he gets that money because he worked just as hard. I thought about that. And I thought about the fact that he was showing integrity. And he seemed upset that I was worried about his safety as opposed to his moral compass. And he said, Mom, you didn't raise me to be those things. And I will walk safely to school and be mindful of my environment around me. I said, I'm not worried about you being mindful. I'm worried about the drivers on the road being mindful. And he said, don't worry, Mom. I've practiced the duck and dive. And I said, well, I'll watch. And I watched him get to the school. And as I was drinking my coffee, I was thinking, had he not spoke how he felt, and had I not raised him with a moral compass, he would have kept that money. He would have lied to his friend and stole from his friend. He wouldn't have fought tooth and nail with Mom to get his snow gear on, that he was going to go and do this and give the money to his friend like he'd promised. I've never been a prouder mom in the world than I am today at this young man. And I had a little laugh because he basically threw my words in my face to remind me that I raised him this way. I have raised him to stick up for the things that he believes in, to voice his opinion respectfully, to have feelings and own those feelings, and to be integrous, audacious, bold when you have to be, and basically a good and loyal friend. And he showed me all those things this morning with absolute respect. And I'm wondering how many other mothers out there can say that they have had this happen where their children all of a sudden get the lesson that you've instilled. And it's mind-blowing, but I guess it's monkey see, monkey do. And he's never watched his mother back down for something that she believed in, to ask questions, to not be afraid of authority, to understand the people around you, to ask those valid questions with respect. Never been prouder. Best present my son could have given me.